What would be an extremely cheap version of Labrynth? I just went into the secret pack and got pretty much nothing, but I do have 220 UR materials, so I was wondering if I can at least build a very cheap version of this deck, haha. Of course, I can help you with this beautiful budget Labrynth deck. It turns out Labrynth can in fact be built with only 6 URs and still be perfectly playable. Now, as always, rules for my budget decks is that a card that was initially in the special bundles is fair game. So you got 1 Ash and you got 1 Solemn Judgment from those bundle deals. Now, if you didn't, you can just replace this with multiple copies of some other rare you can see in this version. So first of all, we have the furniture. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth into every single one of these cards. I do have the more expensive version of the furniture deck on the channel already where I go more in-depth, so go check that out afterwards. We have 1 Cooklock because this doesn't really do anything by itself that well, and it is perfectly searchable within the deck. Triple Stovey Torby, and it's a normal. Do you see how beautiful that is? If you're a budget player and you see this little normal icon, you just think, ah, glorious. Then we have the 1 Ash from the bundle deal. We have triple Chandelier. We have triple Ariana. Now, sadly, this is an SR, but you'll be happy to know that as you upgrade this deck, you will still keep on playing your triple Ariana, assuming you play the furniture build. So it's totally fine to craft your 3 knowing I'll get to use this for longer. Now we have triple Kaiju. Now, of course, evenly matched is an SR. Lava Golem is an SR. Sphere mode, I don't even know. So if you already have those, you can replace the Kaijus with the evenlies for sure. But if you don't, this is just a rare to add to the deck and be able to break some boards a little better. Again, though, if you got a replacement, play the replacement. Then we are playing 1 Lovely. Lovely is, of course, very important to special summon with our big welcome and our welcome. You can't really get around this ultra. And of course, even in the full power version, this is only a one-off. Then we have 1 Lady Labrynth. Now, of course, if you have more Lady Labrynth, absolutely play more copies. Play your 2 copies, play your 3 copies. But in the budget version, we can actually get away with just 1. We can search it with the big welcome and so forth. And we can search those with all of our furniture. So it's totally fine to just play the 1. Then we have the 1 Raigeki, which you should have gotten for free in the story mode. Don't go and craft this because this card does kind of suck. It is just a bad replacement for evenly matched. Now, if you have other cards, for example, the second lady, just cut this Raigeki. But I felt we do need kind of some cards to go second, and so we got the Raigeki, we got the Kaiju because they were free. Again, if you got the replacement, just cut the Raigeki, put in a cool Lady Labrynth or whatever SR you have. Then we have triple Pot of Extravagance. These are SR, but again, you can keep on playing these even in the full power version, and this is a solid staple for any other kind of non-extra deck. So this is not a bad thing to pick up, and again, it's just SR material. It's not quite as hard as the UR material, and you do need, you know, your advantage in order to keep going. Then we have 1 Pot of Prosperity, similar story to Extravagance. This is going to be a staple that you're going to keep on running in other decks, so it's not too bad to own. And of course, this will help you get into your traps, which will then get your whole engine live and so forth. We have 1 Torrential Tribute because it's perfectly searchable with the lady. You will notice how in my other videos, I made a full furniture version and a full trap version. However, this is more of a hybrid because we're trying to take the cheapest from both. That's why we have the Torrential, we have the triple Compulse. We are, you know, they're rare, so why wouldn't we play them? We have 1 Dimensional Barrier. It's an SR, so a bit harder to get, but you can still search it with the lady and so forth, so it's quite alright. We have triple Dogmatica Punishment because, of course, those are just rares and they are still very solid removal. They are still gonna all trigger these beauties if a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, which it absolutely will thanks to Dogmatica Punishment. We have 1 Ice Dragon's Prison. This is an SR, so if you're like, damn, I don't really want to spend SR material on a card that's not necessarily the best for the deck, you could just play another Torrential Tribute or maybe a Bottomless Trap Hole or something like that. But I did kind of like the option, especially like banish removal against tier elements and so forth. Seems pretty spicy. But again, up to you. If you don't want to spend the SR material on this one, just get yourself some other rare. Again, it won't be too bad to just get a Bottomless Trap Hole right here, just a normal. You know what? I'll put it in right here. That'll look nice and budget. But again, it can be an Ice Dragon Prison, just something to keep all of these beautiful furnitures and so forth going. Then we have our welcomes. As you notice, I only have 1 Welcome Labrynth and triple Big Welcome Labrynth. Now, this is good for budget, but also it is not completely unfounded. If you checked out the YCS topping deck list of Ryan Yu playing Labrynth, they were actually wanting to play 2 Welcome Labrynth, and the reason for going to 2 and not 1 is because Runic might banish it. Similar story for their lady, they were like, oh, we're playing 2 because because Runic might banish it or something along those lines. So when they're already playing 2 and their reasonings is, oh, Runic and so forth, then maybe it's not too bad to play 1. Now, of course, if you want a more consistent deck, if you want to have access to these types of cards without discarding necessarily for the furniture at first, and you do already have more Welcome Labyrinths, you absolutely can run more. No one is stopping you from cutting the one bottomless trap hole for the second Welcome Labyrinth. But in theory, it is perfectly possible to play the 1 Welcome and the triple big Welcome. This is basically where all your budget is going to go with your ultra rares. Half your ultra rares are basically going to be big Welcome. This is something we cannot cheap out on. So we can absolutely play 1 Lady, we can play 1 Welcome, we can play 1 Lovely, because you always would, but we need that triple big Welcome. That big Welcome is going to get onto the field with Ariana and your Stovey and your Chandelier. You're basically trying to get both into rotation, and with all these cheap cards it's possible, but please, we try to get the triple big Welcome. The 1 Solemn Judgment, just really cool to protect, and again, I'm assuming you have it from the bundle deal. If you don't, replace it with some of the other removals. Definitely don't go crafting a single Solemn Judgment just because of this profile. It's just because it was free. Now we have some floodgates. Usually in the furniture build, you don't really have the floodgates. You're usually going to be using hand traps and so forth, but all of those hand traps are URs. So if we want to be more cheap than all that UR material, we can settle for the SRs. So you have 1 Rivalry, 1 Skill Drain, 2 Summon Limit, and 1 Gozen Match. Now, of course, if you say, oh, I already have 3 Ash, cut your summon limits, put in the extra Ashes. If you say, I already have the Maxis, cut the summon limits for that. If you say, oh, I already have all the hand traps, then cut the skill drains and the rivalry and so forth. And then you can actually start pivoting closer to the build I already showed you on the channel, the full Furniture Labyrinth build. But for now, this should already be perfectly playable and get you going. And then for the extra deck, as you can see, it's all cheap stuff. This is mostly stuff to banish off Pot of Extravagance, but I did my best to also give it high attack. Master of Oz, 4,200. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 4,500. Dragon Master Knight, 5,000. Reason is, Dogmatica Punishment needs you to send stuff with high attack, and these are the monsters with the highest attack. A similar story for Barbaroid, by the way. Now, these 3 are a little different. This is Skullwagon. This says, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 spell or trap on the field and destroy it. So you can send this with Dogmatica Punishment if you need to remove a small monster, and now you basically have a mystical Space Typhoon on legs in your graveyard ready to get rid of stuff. Finally, we have this SR, Myriologic Aggregator. If it's sent to the graveyard, target a face-up card on the field and negate it until the end of the turn. This means you can send this with punishment and then negate something else. So this is still cute, but I didn't want to add more because it's more SR material. Now, if you have more SR material and you want to keep on playing punishment, you can absolutely play more of this. Finally, the only card in this deck that's not a punishment target is Muckraker. This card is actually going to be important. I have the full explanation in the Labyrinth Furniture version already on the channel, but if you already have multiple copies of this, of course, play multiple copies of this. However, this is the Labyrinth budget deck, and how about we check out some gameplay right now? It looks like we have a pretty cool start. Let's activate our Pot of Extravagance first. We're going to draw 2 cards. Okay, interesting. Let's activate the Stovey Torby, and we're going to get rid of the Chandelier, and we're going to set ourselves our big Welcome. Next, we will activate our Cucklock. Maybe we should have started with the Cucklock, to be fair, to then get it back. Now we normal summon this Torby. We will activate this. And next, we will special summon. I think I want to do Ariana and then return the Stovey Torby. Then we will activate the Ariana. We will activate the Stovey Torby. We will activate the Chandelier as well. So we're going to be getting a bunch of value here. Get the Chandelier back, special summon the Stovey, and then Ariana gets us another one of our cards. In this case, I would like a other big Welcome. So next I'll set the big Welcome, I'll set the summon limit, I'll set the compulse, and maybe Hot Take will even activate the Chandelier to set the Welcome. Yeah, so now we'll also set the Welcome. And then our Cucklock will activate and come back to us. We say no because we want it on our hand. It's a bit safer. And then we basically pass the turn. So we got a bunch of value right here. I think we want to maybe instantly welcome. Yeah, I think we want to instantly welcome into Lovely. because that way when we activate the big welcome, the lady can actually do some real damage. I don't think I want to activate anything else just yet. Yeah, I think everything else is quite alright. Let's see what they do. Maybe you want to kill like the first thing they commit with a lovely right here. I think that might be cleaner. Oh, they just set something. Interesting. So they might also be a trap deck. Yup, looks like it. Oh, I think this is where we activate the big welcome. And we won't chain anything else. This is where we get the lady out. And we will return this to our hand. So next, we have a lot of effects to activate. First, we will activate the lovely. Then we will activate this. And look, they're all gonna keep coming back with like a bunch of value, basically. And Ariana as well. She's gonna draw a card. So look, we have our traps in rotation and we did some activations and now they're just all going crazy. So it's activate upon activate upon activate upon activate. Draw a card. Special summon a monster to the field? No. Set a spell or trap on the field? Yes. This actually seems pretty solid to set. Okay. Then the chandelier comes back to our hand. Then the stovey is gonna special summon out. Then the lovely is gonna pop a card. Don't destroy in the hand. We instead destroy something on the field. Okay. And then on resolution, we're actually gonna compulse that card back to their hand. This. And then our lady will actually respond to that by setting another card. We don't want to chain anything. I'm actually thinking what I want to set because so many things might be good right now. Since I'm not sure, I'm just going to set a Dogmatica punishment. And if we want to activate that this turn, we still can thanks to Kuklock. I don't think I want to do anything else. We'll just see what happens. I don't think we want to activate anything else right now. It's possible that right now they have basically zero plays. In the TCG, basically. We would have Chaos Angel to do some stuff, but right now we don't. So now they're ending their turn, and this should probably be GG. I actually, in my hand now, want to activate the Stovey Torby to set a big welcome, because that will allow us to actually destroy some stuff as well. And we won't activate anything else. Okay, so we don't have game on board just yet. The Raigeki, that's pretty funny. I think I want to activate Big Welcome to special summon an Ariana. Oh, they're gonna special summon a monster in the graveyard? That's funny. I think I'm gonna let that go through, because I want to solemn whatever they have set. Because this thing, whatever they do here, doesn't really matter. We're just going to special summon this in attack. And then we return specifically the Stovey. And now we have a bunch of effects to activate. So first of all, we have this to activate. Then we have this to activate. Look at all this value. Like, look how many things are activating. It is absolutely crazy. All of these cards are now returning and popping and doing all kinds of other stuff. Like, we're going to be drawing and setting and popping and returning, and like, there's no deck that can create as much value as this. Okay, you cannot even imagine how little I care. Alright, so we're at Chainlink 6, by the way. And as you can see, all of this furniture, all normal cards. No URs here. I mean, except for these two, of course. And the funny thing is, we haven't even resolved the summon limit yet. We still have all of these cards. We've purely gone crazy on, you know, taking away their normal summon. Because obviously, this is not a crazy good deck. But we had plenty of stuff to stop whatever came next. So it truly didn't matter. I don't know what they're thinking about. Yeah, they're thinking about nothing. That's the answer. Because Labrynth is the best deck. Well, not the best deck. Maybe second or third best deck right now. But definitely in my top 3 for sure. So that's all for today. Hope you found this interesting. If there's other budget decks you want to see, let me know in the comments down below. Do note that not every deck on Master Duel can be made budget. Some archetypes simply have too many very important ultra rares. It's just that whenever I see a deck that could be made budget, I try my best. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.